What are some of the 7 top leadership questions you will likely encounter during your interviews, and how are you going to answer them? So in this video, I'm going to talk about 7 leadership questions you will encounter as a Scrum Master, or if you're in a leadership position, and how are you going to deal with them. More of the best approach, I would say, it's not the only approach, the best approach to handle them. One of the things you will agree is that we try to make it as easy as possible and illustrate why this might be the best way to approach it, and also how you can handle it. So if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you what the last question is, so that you don't want to miss the last question. The last question, which is the 7th question I'm going to answer, it's describe a time you acted as a servant leader and remove an impediment for your team. What was the impediment and what step did you take? So that's the last question I'm going to treat. And the first question we're going to treat today is, what is the difference between management and leadership? So you have an idea of what we are going to treat throughout this video. So there are many other important ones that are in the middle. All right. So before we go ahead, please make sure that you like, you subscribe, drop a comment, so that I know that you definitely are interested in having more videos like this from me. It's a Friday. This every need to be super joyful, right? Now, for those who are interested in being part of our Safe Scrum Master training, Scale Agile training, we have a training coming up Monday, 19th of September. You want to follow, send me a text using the my number on the screen, or just check on the description box. You're going to see a text. Just send me a text, and then we are going to send you a link on how to enroll for that session. It's always very, very engaging, practical. If you need coaching to close that gap for a job, definitely we are here to help you, guide you on what exactly you need to do. All right, for those already practicing, we have a powerful practicing community that can help you close the gap. Without wasting much time, let's get to our first question for today, which is, what is the difference between management and leadership? All right. Now, one of the reasons, before I explain this question, I want to make you understand why you will be asked this question, most especially if you are going in for a leadership position. One of the reasons project management is separated from Scrum is that a Scrum Master do not have management power. A Scrum Master is expected to be a leader. So one of the key difference between management and leadership is that with management, we need to follow guidelines, we need to follow plans, we need to make sure that we are doing as guidelines. So that we're very strict when we're talking about management. Now, let's say that I'm in a management position, like the manager of a project, right? I'm given a guideline on how that project needs to be executed, from planning to monitoring and evaluation. My goal is to make sure that we remain within the stated principles or the stated resources, and we remain within the stated budget. So I am managing what has been given to me. Now, with management, you might have flexibility within the guideline, but you are not required to create stuff out of the box. So management focus on implementation and implementing laid down guidelines that you need to follow. Now, when we talk about leadership, it's about serving, it's about understanding people and empowering the people to implement their work based on specific guidelines. So the key difference between leadership and management is that while management, we are following a strict plan and we want everyone to adhere to that plan. With leadership, we have a guideline, but we're looking on how people can be creative. So we're not so much glued to this. We want opportunity where we can teach people to do what they need to do using their own style or using their own approach in the best possible way. And that is one of the reasons why in a Scrum team, you will hear like, oh, we have one self-organizing, right? Self-organizing means that we want to help you, or we want to empower you to do what you know how to do in the best possible way. If I were to switch that to management, it's like, okay, look, we do not have so much flexibility. This is the way we need to do it, and we need to stick with this guideline because we don't want any mistakes. With leadership, we are open to make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and push ahead. So that's the main difference between management and leadership. Question number 2, how do you motivate a new Scrum team? Or how do you motivate a team new to Scrum? All right. Now, for you to motivate a team new to Scrum, you need to understand what Scrum is all about. What is Scrum? Scrum, it's more of a mindset, a framework, an approach to implementing work, right? So, and we deliver in shorter cycle. Scrum is not a methodology. A methodology simply means that we are not bound to do it a specific way. Scrum helps us to deliver work with focus on the customer in an incremental approach. But then one of the main stuff that's really peculiar about Scrum is the fact that we run it in iteration, in smaller circle. And a key concept of Scrum is how we learn from this circle and improve. So for you to motivate a team that is new to Scrum, you want to be able to help the team understand that it is not about implementing the Scrum framework. It's not about doing daily stand-up, planning, retrospective, review. It's about the power of how we can learn and deliver value to our customer. So for us to effectively implement that, it means that the team has a lot of power to help us achieve that. So the way you motivate a new team to Scrum is to show them how each and every member of that team is bringing so much value for us to be able to deliver our increment. And which is one of the reasons why we have all the team members present during the review, and we have all of them presenting what they've completed to the stakeholder, right, during our spring review. So motivating a team new to Scrum is to tell them, hey, we're not changing. We're not here to attend meeting. We are here to see value that we can deliver. If you help them focus on value and how the Scrum approach empowers them, how the Scrum approach generally empower them to bring more of themselves out, then you can help them to see their strength. You can help them to learn from their mistake. So majority of the teams that kind of are resistant to Scrum is because, oh, we don't want so many meetings. Oh, we don't see the importance of coming to daily stand-up every day. Oh, retrospective is just the same thing, what we learn. I don't think we need that, right? So by telling them our goal is not, or by working, collaborating with them, not telling them, collaborating with them to understand, all right, look, our goal is not to attend meetings, right? Our goal is to look at how we can create learning that can help us become much better. Now they start understanding the need, why they probably need to do some certain way. So the most important thing we're talking about here is creating a sense of urgency and value. If someone sees value on why they're taking an action, they definitely will be willing to take that action. Question number 3. We like Perry Lincoln's idea. We like Patrick Lencioni idea. ID team player. Please tell us how you are humble, hungry, and smart. So the question here simply means, tell us how you are humble, hungry, and smart. This is a challenging leadership question, but then the best approach to present this is that if your goal is to serve, right? If your goal is to serve and not to manage, that means that you seek to understand. When you seek to understand your team, that's the first step of being humble. You're loyal, you're a servant leader. For you to serve, you need to be humble to serve. If not, you feel like you're a king and everyone should serve you right. So that's humbleness. Hungry is the aspect of Scrum that means that we never stop learning. I definitely want to learn at every part, which is why communication is a key aspect in implementing any leadership position. We are hungry for more. We want to learn from why did we fail. Our goal is not to fail, but to learn from why we fail. And the third aspect, smart. Smart, it's about not you being so intelligent. Smart is your ability to be able to turn things around. Let's say that we have a daily stand up, and you see, let's say, one of your team members definitely really dominating in the daily stand up. You want to be smart enough to like, all right, team, we just have about 15 minutes. Can we quickly put a rule, or if something is above 1 minute, can we agree, not you implementing, can we agree that if some discussion is going above 1 minute, let's vote it and put it to our parking lot or to our meet after? Now, that's being smart in such a way that you're not just batching to that person. Oh, Peter, you're taking so much time and this is holding the team back. That might push more conflict, right? Smart is about being emotional intelligent, being able to read situation. So if we want to summarize the response to this answer, please tell us how you are humble, hungry, and smart. Or I would say, okay, thank you for that question. I feel I'm humble because I'm a servant leader. I always seek on how I can help my team get better, because I seek on how to serve and not how to manage. I think this bring out the humbleness in me. And by serving, one of my goal is it's about learning the strength of my team members, and by submitting myself to learn, I can easily help them, which is what every leader needs to do, to be able to humble to learn, and also know the fact that we can make mistakes and willing to learn from them. The second aspect, I'm hungry because I'm always looking forward to learn and improve myself. I love to listen from feedback from my team member, from whosoever can help me. So I'm always ready to learn. And the third aspect of it, which is smart. Smart is more on your ability to implement feedback. I believe, and I always try to make sure that I take every feedback and I look at how I can incorporate it into myself to grow, and the same thing for my team. All right, question number 4. What are your thoughts on the changes to the Scrum Guide over the past 5 to 10 years? Right. So this, if you don't really understand that the Scrum Guide has been changing, then you will not be in a perfect position to answer this question. But the way I'm going to deal with this question, it's going to be, I'll give a generic answer here if you don't know specifically what has changed. Now, the response, which is going to be, to me, best fitting, you might have a different opinion, that's okay. Best fitting is the fact that, yes, there have been quite some changes to the Scrum guide within the past 5 to 10 years. But this is because the goal of Scrum is not to be static, is to learn from what is happening and to be able to improve ourselves. So I think, based from the most recent guide, we see that it portrays really 4 key aspects. How do we collaborate? How do we improve? How do we deliver value? How do we learn from feedback? So based on this, and based on the changing nature of clients or customer, and also the how fast the world is moving, there is definitely that need to constantly improve and eliminate what might not be working. So I think it shows us that Scrum is really, really committed to deliver value, and they keep on looking at how to improve and deliver more value. Right. So I'm not going to go to really specific details on what changed, what did not really change, because that's not the key, or that's not the main reason they're asking this question. Okay, number 5. Where have you focused your continuous learning, and what is the most impactful thing? Right. This is a very important leadership question. One of the things you've heard me talk over and over again is that, what? As a leader, your strength is how you continuously learn. Your strength is not to listen to, or not to be contented. Now, I focus personally my continuous learning on personal development. And this has impacted me to be a better leader, right? I'm not so much pushed with what someone is going to tell me or the feedback or with failure or something kind of pull me down because I've invested the time to build myself in such a way that I know that my success is from the inside, it's not from what I see. So because I understand that my success is from the inside and how I help others is based on the value that is in me, this has created so much impact. So continuous learning is not about learning to do the job. You need to learn the skills you need if you're on the job, but fine. But the most impactful learning that is supposed to help you, it's about investing in yourself, making sure that you put a healthy life, most importantly, on your heart, most importantly, on your leadership ability. And this is been so much impactful to me because it helped me learn and grow. If definitely, let's say someone put a very negative comment on my video, that's not going to really hit me. That's an opportunity for me to learn and to improve. Very important. Number 6 says, describe your approach slash initial step when working with a newly formed team that is unfamiliar with Scrum. How do you motivate them to adopt an agile mindset? All right. I would not really want to focus on familiar with Scrum. But for me, when I join a new team, what is very important for me is the fact that I don't want to prejudge. I don't want to assume that I'm the only one that know how to implement Scrum. I want to pay so much attention to what the team know and the key area of expertise. And I am able to do this by really paying attention to active listening. Now, you can listen because you want to ask a question. You can listen in order to understand. That's the kind of listening that you pay attention to if you join a new team. Now, when you pay attention to active listening, in a sense, to collect valuable information from your team members, it helps you, number one, to put more value in them to understand that they already know so much. They might be new to Scrum, but they already have a lot that you can leverage from them. When you actually use this approach, you able to motivate them to understand that Scrum is not something that we are bringing from outside to implement. It's something that they have already been doing, just that we have not really kind of focused around the concept. So the key for us to work, which is going to help your team, is the fact that it's not something new we are borrowing from outside to bring to the team, but it's something that we already are doing. And one just want to look at how we can refocus and pay more attention on what we are doing. In that case, this helps them to know that, oh, that means I'm not going to learn something new, right? But this doesn't mean that they were not going to learn any new stuff. But you want to understand that if I have a mindset that I'm going to learn a very new concept, I might say, oh, you know what? I don't have time to learn the new concept. I already have a very busy schedule. But if I understand that, oh, there's definitely nothing new, it's just about rephrasing some of the things you know in a way that you're unfamiliar with, it kind of put me at peace. So communication is very, very important and how you tell others. And the seventh question is describe a time that you acted as a servant leader and remove an impediment for your team. What was the impediment? What step did you take? All right, perfect. This is a very important question. Now, I'm going to use a couple of practical examples to respond to this question. Now, an impediment, which might be, for instance, one of your team member, which is a DevOps in the engineer, or actually went on vacation, and uh, the planned vacation was for 1 week. All right, but for some reason, the team member could not return on time, and the vacation has to be extended by 3 more weeks, which means 1 month in your team without a DevOps engineer. And there was a whole lot of work that could wait for 1 week for that DevOps engineer to come back. But because this was extended for more than 3 weeks, we could no longer hold on. And this was a very big impediment for my team. Now, what I did is that I scheduled a session with my manager and discussed this issue with my manager, and also scheduled a session with my team and discuss this issue with my team, and we're able to figure out that, okay, we cannot hold on for 1 month because there's so many gateways that needed to be deployed and environment that needed to be deployed for the team to move ahead. And because of that, we needed a management solution. After discussing with my manager also escalated the issue, and the organization management was able to deploy someone temporarily from another office from another sister office within the company to actually come help. Right. This is like for company, we might have, let's say, Bank of America. You have a DevOps engineer working in the, let's say, Dallas office. You have another one working in the Washington, D.C. office. There could be that level of collaboration where we could borrow one of your resources for 2 weeks because we really, really need to implement this. But that's not your decision to make as Scrum Master, just a situation where you can escalate it. Now, impediment number two. Impediment number two can be a situation where you had one of your developers, they were constantly not updating their Scrum board and the stories, and they most often were running late, and this was really holding the team back. And sometimes they would not even show up in majority of the meeting, and this was a very big blocker or impediment to the team. So what I did is that I met with them one-on-one on several cases, explained to them the importance of participating in our daily stand-up in our Scrum event, because it helps other team members to also who have questions for him to be able to ask these questions. And also it helped them to move faster as a team. Now, also very important is the fact that the fact that he was not participating in this meeting show a lot of disrespect for other team members, because he makes the team member feel like these events are not important. So after several conversations with these team members, and I saw that the situation wasn't really changing, I had to escalate this to my release train engineer. And the release train engineer also had to talk to this person and kind of make him see the reason why he should be part of this meeting, but this did not really help. So at one point, I had to escalate this to the management, and that's where the management had to now take some management action. The guy had to be was reading up, and then he was given the first warning. But this is not really changed, and this was really a big blocker for my team. At one point, the management had to let this team member go, right? So now this is an impediment. These are steps you take to resolve that. This is a very practical example, and this is something you can also use in most of the time. This is definitely does not indicate your weakness in leadership, that you could not manage a team member. It's just about reality that we face. Sometimes we feel like, oh, we are super leadership and we can turn things all around. No, there's cases that are beyond what we can handle. And sometimes your goal is not to make things work, but it's to make sure that you're using the right approach in order to help your team do well. All right. That was it for today. And definitely don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. It's a Saturday. We are going to have a live event to answer all of your questions. The focus for tomorrow live is going to be kind of pointing out some of the biggest differences between Scrum Masters and a project manager, and also more or less encouraging a lot of you that are in the process to also go for a project management position. They're also very rewarding, and there's a lot you need to learn, right? So we can all do this. I'm going to kind of point the differences in our live session tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be 2:30 Central Time. And join me on that date, and we're going to have a valuable conversation. Okay, for those who have already signed up for the Safe Scrum Master session on Monday, I'm looking forward for an excited training on Monday. And for those who want already part of my team, we are definitely having some really, really great wins together as a community. And for those who want to belong to a community, get that support, not just through the interviews, but also also after they have their job and want to still get that support, you are definitely welcome to join the team. It's a chain of movement, right? We want to create something beyond just having a job. And I always say that one of the reasons why it's important for you to be part of a community is not because you don't know what you're doing. Now, I've had a couple of people that have been in there. They really hit with challenges that it could just be one fix in just a minute of conversation. And because they did not have someone to support them, they lose it. That's how important it is. And sometimes a lot of people reach out to me like, oh, I have this, I only need this. Now, just one aspect that you're missing can put you on a point for so long a time. And there's no amount of money in a minute that we show you the right thing to get something that you can use for years. So sometimes a lot of people want to place a price on, oh, this is expensive, this is not expensive. But what they're forgetting is to look at the value they want to get in terms of long term. So if you start thinking about the value beyond just, oh, I'm not yet making money, so I cannot invest in these, versus, you know what, I need these and I want to do everything possible to be on this, then we are going to actually win as a team. I had a very good call with one of my team member, which just had an offer. But then what I want to share is what I learned when I had a conversation. So look, this was my option A, this was my option B, this was my option C. So I had no other option. So with the foundation that we have from the class to the mastermind, it helped me a lot to create so much value. And she also said one thing, she said, every day I made a target to put out 20 applications. It's like, how many people are doing that? How many of you are doing that? Now, it don't just take about you being motivated to do that. It's also about being in a place where you're encouraged to do that. Okay, that was Saturday motivation. I'll see you on the other side. Have a good weekend.